Right, I'm already set up here on River Steeping, ready to start fishing. I've got 3 rigs, I've got 2 whips, 3.5 metre, 4 metre whip and a pole. And the first thing I need to do is to plumb the depth, which is going to be different to the last time I fished here, which was Sunday, because arriving here this morning I found out that they'd let the river down to the winter level. If you see the depth on the float at the minute, that's where it was Sunday. And that is going to need to come down quite a bit. First of all, we'll plumb up for where I'm going to be fishing with a 4 metre whip. Which is there. Just check the level. The water's, the bank, I'll get it right in a minute. The bottom varies in here quite a bit. So you need to plumb your depth up so that if it runs you're still at the right depth. Now then, not bad, mate. As you can see from that, there's not a lot of water. Plus the cold temperatures, we could be struggling a bit today, but I'm going to give it a go and see how it goes. Right, that's it for 4 metres. We'll try coming in, see what it's like at 3.5. It's within half an inch, it's about the same. Right, shallows up to the right at 3.5 metres, quite a bit. Yeah, so it's about the same straight in front of me, but shallows up to the right and to the left. So I think about an inch shallower. Yeah, it's deeper in the middle. To the right comes up an inch, to the left comes up an inch. So I'll now mark that depth on the whips and I'll be ready to start fishing. I may start on the pole today, just to see if there's any fish here. As you'll see, my whips have had lots of Tipex. Everything's a bit crude, but it all works. That's the 3.5 metre. I probably won't catch on that today. with it being so shallow, but yeah. You often get a surprise. That's the 4 metre whip marked up, ready to start. Now another very important thing a lot of people don't realise is that the river comes up and down, and I always put a depth marker in, which I've got a bank stick marked at 1 inch intervals, which I put in on the middle one without falling in, and then I can see whether the river's come up or not, because you can be fishing away and stop catching and suddenly realise the river's gone down 1 inch and you're actually dragging on the bottom, or you've come up a bit where the fish aren't feeding. The next job I've got is to get my punch crumb ready. I'll put some water in the bait bowl, and then put enough crumb in and mix it till it's stiff enough to throw. It's not a science or an art or anything, it's up to you how you mix it. I mix it fairly sloppy because the river's so shallow, and then mix a ball like that and throw a ball where I'm going to be fishing. The next thing is the bread for punch, which I use Ovis soft white thick. This is old. This bread I've got here is very old. It's what I used last Sunday in the match, but the new recipe for Ovis soft white thick stays softer longer, so it says. New softer loaf, and it certainly does, and we can use it even when it's old. I normally try and use this bread as fresh as possible. Right, now we've got a depth set up, I'll just mark it on the pole. I've marked it on the whips, and I'll go in with a pole and right, I'll start fishing now. I've just had 2 disturbances. I've had 2 fishing mates come down talking to me, so I better get on with it. Right, them's my punches. I've got various sizes. All I do, I'm on a 20 hook, just stick that in like that. They're number 10 shots, and we'll see if there's any fish about. Look at that. Do you believe that? Just dropped it in the side and I've got a fish. They are about. What did I say about catching close in? Yep, fish are about. That's a bit better one. So it's time to get the whip out. Get them out quicker. Right, we'll set the depth. So that it's just off the bottom. Missed a bite there. There's fish about. Keep feeding a little bit average up. Missed another bite. Notice the bread stays on if you get the right bread. Stay on when you miss a bite. And again, but it didn't that time. At least I had 3 chucked, and it's old bread. If you got fresh bread, it'd be even better. I'm missing a lot of bites today for some reason. I didn't miss that one. That's 3. Oh. Five. Six. If you notice the float I'm using, it's one of my homemade whip wagglers. It's piano wire, peacock and a cocktail stick, and it's fastened on by a little device I've got at the bottom, a bit of silicone, a bit of stiff plastic, and then a piece of outer of electric wire. If you use silicone, the line cuts through it. And the shot in is 3 number 8s and a number 10 and a 20 up. 1.1 Bayer line. I know it's old fashioned, but I don't think you can beat it for this sort of fishing. How many was that? I think it was 6. That one was a tiny one that dropped off. Seven. Red's still on. The only trouble with it being this shallow, you tend to get tangles if you miss a bite or drop a fish off. That's why the shot's strung out on the line. Yeah, the bread's not not staying on as well as it should, but it is 5 days old. If you get it as fresh as you can, it's brilliant. That's about a fish. It's 10, I think. And I was worried I wouldn't catch. That's a rod. Yeah, this bread's not good at all. Make sure you get it from the supermarket with at least 5 days on the sell-by date, and you'll know it's fresh then. I didn't get any fresh this morning, but I probably should have done. I think it's just dragging on the bottom. I'll just shallow it up 1/2 inch. That's 14. How long we've been fishing? 15 minutes maybe, probably less. I'm not as quick at this as I used to be. I've got slower in my old age. A little skimmer. Usually if you give the hook a little tug it usually comes out, but that one didn't. Right, that's 20 fish in less than 20 minutes. I'm going to switch this off now, save the battery, and come back in an hour or so.